Okay, thanks everybody for coming. In 2013, the township did a state-required reliability study of our water system, and the report pointed out a few deficiencies related to reliability, primarily pressure and water quality in the Trowbridge Park area, and specifically the main problem was the mains were undersized for today's needs and requirements. So, and as you know, the last couple of years the township's been working on road improvements. So we've been trying to coordinate our improvements with the road improvements. All the projects we've been doing so far have been self-funded. So we have a current plan for next year's Trowbridge Park road improvements. We are hoping to do our water main improvements at the same time. But in order to do that, because of the cost, we're having to borrow money. And so that's the purpose of this hearing today. Is the board had already approved the search for funding. Matt Trito from EP Engineers, I think, started like last August, I believe. It's been a couple of months dealing with rural development. The township decided that that was too costly, basically. Ended up paying twice the actual cost of the improvements. So the next alternative was drinking water revolving fund. So since I believe November maybe of last year, he's been working on that application. So we finally have Matt's finally completed this, not the application, but the project plan. So he's here tonight to basically go over the project plan and receive input from the public. And so, Matt, Rita.
Thanks, Kirk. So essentially just kind of here to go over the project plan that we developed. This all started, Kirk kind of laid that out pretty well. When we started the road millage project, one of the questions that we immediately asked is if there's any infrastructure improvements that need to be done in conjunction with the road millage project, because we did not want to put in and spend all this money upgrading our roads only to come back and rip the roads up to put in new water main. So what I have here is we have our Charter Township of Marquette Drinking Water Revolving Fund. This is the public hearing. This is giving the public a chance to voice their concerns and have that on the record and basically have their opinions publicly discussed. So what we have here is a map of the existing system. Shows in blue some of the undersized existing 6-inch water main. So Ontario Street is basically the main artery or the main feeder line for the Trowbridge Park area, and then the blue lines are essentially the undersized water mains that are located throughout Trowbridge Park. These water lines were installed in the 70s and have various problems that are part of this besides the fact that they are undersized. This gives you a little bit better depiction of what's actually going on as far as where the project's at. This is the proposed 2017 improvements both for the roadway projects and the water main project. You know, like we said at the beginning of this is planned to be done in conjunction with the roadway improvements so that we're not spending the money to replace the roads twice. You know, if we're doing the roads, we want to be doing the roads and the water main at the same time. So, purpose of the project. We talked about now a couple of times. The road millage implications, the approximate cost savings for doing the project and the road work and the water work at the same time is about $1 million. There's about $1 million of roadway costs that the road millage would be paying for. The water project is then only paying for water-related expenses. One of your major costs for a water project is always the surface, is always the roadway. Since we're utilizing funds for the road millage to do this project, we're saving about $1 million. Some of the water quality issues that we have in Trowbridge Park are dead-end lines. We're increasing the flushing capabilities in the area by increasing the size of the lines. There's significant water loss due to leakage in Trowbridge Park. About 17.4% is the current percentage of loss due to leakage in Trowbridge Park. So it's by far the most loss due to leakage of the entire system. And increased system reliability. There's been issues with water service connections in the past, water service breaks because of the different connections that were installed with the original system. And this project would replace all of those components inside the right-of-way, increasing reliability and decreasing the cost that the township is paying to actually maintain their system. So this is an excerpt directly from the project plan. Dead-end water lines and undersized water mains is contributing to reduced flushing capabilities. By increasing the water main size to the MDEQ standard, removing and replacing the existing hydrants and valves, Marquette Township will improve its flushing capabilities, which will improve overall water quality. The proposed project will also improve the overall reliability of the system by reducing the probability of water main breaks. Water main breaks can result in reductions in pressure below the MDEQ minimum threshold. By increasing reliability for the system, we are preserving the quality of water now and reducing potential water quality issues in the future. The current loss ratio in the Cox district is 17.4%, represents a reliability issue by effectively reducing available supply. So, project alternatives. Option number 1 is to do an open cut replacement of the existing water main. This would be removing or abandoning the existing water main and installing new ductile iron pipe that is appropriately sized. The other option is to do directional bore, which would be to remove and replace the existing water main with new HDPE water main. HDPE stands for high density polyethylene pipe, fancy word for plastic essentially. And option number 3 is that of no action. So the option that we selected was the open cut removal and replace of water main with new ductile iron water main. The reason why you go with the open cut trench method is it's the most cost effective since the water fund is not actually paying for any of the surface disturbances. If we weren't having cost sharings from the road millage, then the possibility would be that the HDPE would be the most cost effective because then you're not paying for as much roadway replacement. But since the road millage is paying for all the roadway costs, open cut trench remove and replace is actually the most cost effective. This is a breakdown of all the different components within this project. If you look at some of the water main aspects of this breakdown, well, that doesn't show up very well there, does it? Nope. So if you see the items W10 through W16, those are all surface restoration costs. They total only about $150,000. Majority of those are just driveway replacements. That's because all of our costs for roadway replacements are being paid for by the road millage. Almost all of the costs are then water main related infrastructure, and that's why we're able to get such a cost-effective project. Total project cost of about $3,264,920. And that includes the construction, administration, engineering, and contingency. So the financial impact, one thing I wanted to highlight was the existing water fund debt. We already have some drinking water revolving fund debt. That's at $57,000. Then we have some smaller existing debt, Grandview Circle, Harglow Settlement, Public Works Facility, and the land purchase. The total debt service for 2015 was $92,948. The proposed $3.25 million bond would be through the State of Michigan Drinking Water Revolving Fund, resulting in approximate $207,000 in an annual debt payment over the course of the 20 years life of the bond. There's 1,860 residential equivalent units. A residential equivalent unit is a term used to determine how much income you're going to be able to generate from a system. It's based on what a typical usage is for a single-family residential. Single-family residential household typically uses around 4,000 gallons. That will vary from community to community. But to just give you an idea of what our basis of comparison is, that's what we're looking at, the typical use from a single-family home. So that would result in an approximate $9.25 per month cost per residential equivalent unit. So one thing I want to do is just go over the project direct impacts, and that is in the project plan as well. And I will just go through and make sure that those are all properly highlighted. Okay. So for direct impacts, historical, archaeological, geological, cultural, and recreational areas has no impact. For the existing and future quality of the surface water and groundwater, and the project's contributions to drinking water quality objectives and other water management goals, this project will improve the drinking water quality within Trowbridge Park service area within the cost district of Marquette Township. The increased size and replacement of existing water main with cement-lined ductile iron pipe will increase the ability to sustain and improve fire flow and pressure capabilities of the service area. The only groundwater source used by Marquette Township is the Grove well field that is currently in service, as shown on the system map. The City of Marquette Water utilizes Lake Superior for its intake, which is then sold to the township. This surface water source is also utilized in the Cox District. Natural settings and sensitive ecosystems, no impact. Consumption of materials, land, and energy in construction and operation. The water main replacement project will take place in conjunction with the roadway improvements project. This will reduce the environmental impacts posed by the two projects. Energy will be used during construction activities to perform the necessary construction. There are no unique aspects of construction in regards to this project. Human, social, and economic impacts. Temporary inconveniences will be experienced by the residents that live in the project area. However, the contractor will be responsible to accommodate the needs of the residents to ensure that they're able to safely access their property. User fees will increase to finance the project. The calculation for increased user charges has already been outlined. Construction and operational impacts. By combining the roadway and water main replacement projects, the township will effectively reduce the impact of construction and operation activities. The contractor will be responsible to accommodate the needs of residents within the project area during construction. Once the upgrades are completed, the township will be able to operate its system in the cost district with a higher level of reliability. And other impacts are none. The last item is the project indirect impacts. So changes in the rate, density, or type of development, including residential, commercial, industrial, and the associated transportation changes. Improvements to the distribution system in the Koch district will accommodate future development of the service area. No known major improvements or developments are scheduled for the project area at this time. Improvements to the roadway infrastructure will increase the overall quality of transportation infrastructure within the service area. Changes in land use, there is no impact. Changes in air, water quality stemming from primary and secondary development. Minor impact to air quality during construction due to construction activities. This impact will include necessary dust control measures. Combining the two construction projects will reduce the amount of air pollution to do construction activities. All necessary permits will be required by the contractor, such as a soil erosion and sedimentation control permit through the county. Changes to the natural settings or sensitive ecosystems or jeopardy to endangered species resulting from secondary growth, none. Impacts on cultural, human, social, and economic resources, none. Resources consumption over the useful life of the facility and generations of waste, none. Aesthetics and other impacts. Roadway infrastructure will improve the aesthetics of the entire area, because of course now we will have new roadways throughout Trowbridge Park. So that covers all the different aspects that we need to cover for the project itself. At this point in time, I would like to open it up to public comment, and just come up to the podium, state your name, and state your question for the record, and UP Engineers and Architects and Marquette Township will work together to generate a response.
William Truscott, Marquette Township. Looks like it's all cooked and dried. The job is first done. It looks like it's all cut and dried. You know, you must have the money without going to the people. You know, and I don't know.
All right, well, with that, I close the public hearing. Thank everybody for coming. I appreciate the time. And we will have some potential action items for the board on Tuesday for them to either adopt the resolution or whatever, whatever the board decides how they want to approach it. So thank you very much for coming. Yeah, if you haven't